In that final brutal clash in Marvel's Secret Invasion, the real battle isn't about the superpowers at all. It's about the words. The physical blows, they're just the punctuation marks for a raw, ideological throwdown between two Skrulls at a serious crossroads. So let's break this dialogue down and really unpack what's going on here.
So the fight kicks off from this place of just pure, raw, personal grief. This is the spark, right? A gut punch of an accusation fueling Gia's rage. It feels like a classic revenge story setup, but it becomes clear really fast that this is about way more than just one family.
And yet, that's really the core question, isn't it? The personal pain is absolutely real, but it's like a springboard into this much bigger, much messier argument. This isn't just Gia versus Gravik, it's a full-on debate over the very future of the Skrull people and what kind of existence they even deserve.
So Gia's first move in this ideological battle, it isn't some deep philosophical debate. Nope, it's a straight-up attack on Gravik's leadership. Her argument pivots immediately from what he did to her family to what his entire strategy has done to everyone. This is a critique of his whole movement coming from the inside.
And this line, this is the real turning point. Gia actually admits she was on his side for a second. She felt that same relief, that shared moment of survival. There was this chance for them to unite. But then, Gravik's hateful-ass speech just completely destroyed that possibility. He turned a potential ally into an enemy with his own words.
Okay, so this slide really breaks it all down for us. The two completely opposite paths here. On one hand, you've got Gaia, who's all about putting things back together and asking for help. Her whole vibe is about rebuilding. And then on the other side, we see the fallout from Gravik's approach, that hateful speech, making things worse, creating a hit squad. I mean, it's such a stark contrast between building something up and just tearing it all down. It's all right there in the dialogue.
So after calling out his leadership, the argument shifts to the devastating consequences of it all. Gia basically paints this picture of a conflict that has just spun completely out of control. Gravik's war, it wasn't some surgical strike. It was like setting a fire that's now burning everything and everyone in its path.
And the real cost of this war, it's not just the enemies he was fighting. It's all the allies he lost and the innocent people he put in the crosshairs. The dialogue just lays it bare. His extremism created this total chaos where the lines are blurred and suddenly everyone is a target. It's a story we've seen before, right? A fight for freedom that ends up devouring the very people it was supposed to save.
And wow, this really shows you just how wide that circle of victims got. Gaia calls them out one by one. You've got the Skrulls who actually wanted peace. Now they're being hunted by a hit squad he inspired. You've got innocent humans, obviously, caught in the middle. And then you have these dumbass vigilantes, a direct result of his actions, who are out there killing and getting killed. It's just absolute chaos.
Okay, so after all the back and forth about his terrible leadership and the fallout, the whole conversation just hits a brick wall. There's just no more room to argue, right? No middle ground left. Gaia's logic and Gravik's fanaticism, they've reached an ideological dead end. And that leaves only one really grim path forward.
And this line, man, it just lands with such a heavy, final thud. It's basically them both admitting that their visions for the future just can't exist at the same time. One has to go for the other to survive. The talking is done. The ideological war is now a literal to-the-death fight.
And then we get the absolutely horrifying endpoint of Gravik's entire ideology. After all his talk about finding a home, fighting for his people, what does it all boil down to? This. A demand for total ethnic cleansing. It's not about sharing a world or even conquering it anymore. It's about purifying it. It's just the ultimate failure of his whole revolutionary idea, shrinking this huge, complex struggle down to one simple, brutal demand.
So at the end of the day, this whole conversation, it gives us zero easy answers. What it shows us is a complete ideological breakdown. There is no compromise left on the table. It's a terrifying look at how extremism backs you into a corner, leaving you with an impossible choice. Either you join the Scorched Earth campaign, or you become just another thing that needs to be destroyed.
And so that leaves us with this question, right? The dialogue shows us the catastrophic failure of this one leader's vision, but it gives us no map for how to clean up the mess. I mean, after the vigilantes, the hit squads, all that broken trust, how does anyone, Skrull or human, even start to put the pieces back together?